Welcome to the Business of It All podcast. I'm Cam Drew. It's presented by Fenestration Canada, and today my guest is Adrian Edge, the Director of Codes and Regulatory Affairs for Fenestration Canada. And Adrian, we're going to talk about the topic that is on a lot of minds right now, post August 1st, and that is tariffs in Canada. So could you refresh our minds on where our members sit as manufacturers of windows and doors in Canada?
Yeah, sure. So, because it can be a little confusing between tariffs and counter tariffs, let me just kind of start with tariffs, which is the specifically the U.S. tariffs that have been applied to Canada. So back in April, there was a threat of 25% tariffs to be put on Canada generally. That was enacted, but a caveat was that the CUSMA agreement or the North American agreement items were exempt. For our benefit, I have yet to find any HS codes within our industry that are not exempt within the CUSMA agreement. So at this point, the 25% and as of August 1st, now 35% is really not applicable to the products and inputs that we bring in. So that would, or sorry, anything we would be sending down to the US. On the counter tariff side, there is really manufactured windows, any of the steel or aluminum inputs, so anything that we're bringing in from the US, those all do have tariffs applied. So if you're bringing in, call it formed steel, or you're bringing in gaskets or hardware, if you're bringing in windows and doors completed, those are all being affected by the counter tariffs, which it probably has kind of a natural transition into the 6-month remission process that was put into place by the Department of Finance. So, yeah, before I get too much further in that, I think that probably covered kind of the baseline between tariffs and counter tariffs.
Okay, so to summarize, most manufacturers of products in Canada that are shipping down to the States are covered by the CUSMA agreement, but Canadian manufacturers that are bringing in American products that aren't covered by CUSMA are paying now a 35% tariff on products like roll form steel that they use to manufacture windows and doors.
Incorrect. Sorry. That probably requires a little bit of clarification. So it is only on products that are being shipped down to the US that 35% is applicable. And none of the items that I can find that we would be shipping down to the US right now would be applied, that 35% would be applied to. What we are impacted by is a 50% tariff on steel and aluminum that is a counter to the steel and aluminum tariffs that the US put on. And there was a phase one counter tariffs for completed vinyl and wood windows. So those are being affected. And in the aluminum and steel, that also affects aluminum, profiles and aluminum windows.
Okay, now there is the remission process that manufacturers may be able to use to get some of their the tariffs that they have paid returned to them.
Correct. So the CBSA recently, as of late May, early June, released a notice that clarified the minister's 6-month remission process that went into effect on March 4th, where they were explicit that those that were classified as manufacturers or what's called the North American Industry Classification System, NAICS 3133. So businesses that are categorized under that manufacturing number can use the OIC code within the CARM portal. So when you are importing products from the US, you can put in OIC 250466C, and that will help exempt any inputs that are direct manufacturing processes. So that can be something as simple as you have a window that's coming in from the US, but you're adding a jam liner, for instance. That would be technically considered a manufacturing process for a window that would be coming in, or any number of other solutions. So, if you're bringing in roll form, for instance, for reinforcing for your profile, you can use this OIC 250466C in order to exempt the tariff requirement on it. So this can be done as the material before the material's coming in, as the material's coming in, or the 30-day window before you owe that invoice back to the Department of Finance, CRA. And if you miss that window and you do wind up paying the tariff, there is a 2-year period of time where you can actually apply for a refund of that tariff. So from March 4th, 2025 to March 4th, 2027, you currently have that window where you could still get a refund if you've been paying for that tariff. But as of October 15th, 2025, I'm expecting that 6-month remission process to end. And so we will see at that point, and hopefully sooner than that, what the national government would like to do to deal with some of the inputs that we're dealing with at the moment.
Okay, great. Thank you, Adrian. That was an update that I think a lot of our manufacturers just want to make sure they're on top of, and we want to make sure that all of them are following the remission process to make sure they're getting back the tariffs that they are eligible for, and also that they're understanding their current position in Canada. Thank you very much. My guest today, Adrian Edge, Director of Codes and Regulatory Affairs from Fenestration Canada. I'm Cam Drew. This is the Business of It All podcast.